Hey, welcome back to All About That Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about that Disney life. We now move on to Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas that came out in 1999, so let's get to know this cast. Wayne Allwyn was Mickey Mouse. Russi Taylor was Minnie Mouse, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Tony Alzamo was Donald Duck. Diane Michelle was Daisy Duck for the Gift of the Magi segment. And Tress MacNeille was also Daisy Duck, but for the segments Stuck on Christmas and the finale. And she was also Chip and Aunt Gertie. Alan Young was Scrooge McDuck. Bill Farmer was Goofy and Pluto. Corey Burton was Dale. Sean Fleming was Max. Jim Cummings was Pete, a policeman, the mailman, the fire chief, a dad, an onlooker, a shop owner, and Santa Claus. Jeff Bennett was another dad. Firefighter number 2, Mortimer Mouse, the store announcer, a man, and a customer. Greg Berger was Mr. Anderson and a shopper. Kylie Dempsey was kid number 2 and little girl. Taylor Dempsey was little Jimmy and kid number 1. Andrew McDonough was a boy. Pat Music was a distressed woman, an angry woman, an eccentric lady, a shopper, and Mrs. Anderson. Frank Welker provided vocals for the turkey and Figaro the cat. Mae Whitman was a girl. April Winchell was another mom, an old woman, the firewoman, and firefighter number 1. Kelsey Grammer was the narrator. Tommy Morgan provided Mickey Mouse's harmonica solos. Randy Crenshaw, Rick Logan, Bobby Page, and Norman Large were all singers for the Christmas Carols medley. Now we move on to the facts all about Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Number 1. The stories. The movie opens up with a Christmas tree and there's 3 presents underneath it. There's a toy boat, a teddy bear, and Santa's sleigh. And each of those 3 toys represents the 3 stories that we see throughout this movie. The first story is called Stuck on Christmas and it stars Donald Duck. It was inspired by the 1892 short story Christmas Every Day by William Dean Howells. So the story goes, Huey, Dewey, and Louie wake up one Christmas morning and then go downstairs to open their presents. Although they are supposed to wait for Daisy, Uncle Scrooge, and Aunt Gertie to arrive. The boys then take their new sleds from Uncle Donald and go sledding before having Christmas dinner without even reading the card that was attached to the sleds. While eating the Christmas dinner, they're behaving like rowdy boys with no manners, and Donald yells at them to learn some manners. As Daisy, Donald, Uncle Scrooge, and Aunt Gertie sing carols, the boys play with their new toys. Later on, it's time to go to bed, and having enjoyed the day immensely, the boys wish for it to be Christmas every day. Their wish is granted, and at first they are joyful. After a few days, however, they begin to become tired of Christmas and realize that every day will be exactly the same. Can you guys imagine opening the same presents, eating the same Christmas dinner every day? They decide to change the course of action of the next day by playing tricks and pranks, including swapping the cooked turkey with a live one at dinner. It turns out to be a terrible Christmas for everyone, especially Donald. Shortly after, the boys read the card that was given to them earlier by Donald and Daisy. The card wishes them love and explains that Christmas is not just about presents, it is also about being with family. The boys feel guilty and decide to make amends by making the next day the best Christmas ever. As the boys spread love and cheer by giving Aunt Gertie kisses and helping Daisy with dinner, Donald begins to become suspicious. While they're singing Christmas carols, Donald confronts the boys, demanding to know what they are up to. An outraged Daisy snaps at Donald, accusing him of spoiling a perfect Christmas. Huey, however, admits that Donald was right and that he and his brothers forgot something. Huey, Dewey, and Louie pull out their gift for Uncle Donald, a sailboat made out of their sleds. Genuinely surprised, embarrassed, and touched, Donald thanks his nephews with a warm hug. At the end of the next day, the boys finally realize the true meaning of Christmas and the time loop ends, leading to the day after Christmas or Boxing Day. The next story is called A Very Goofy Christmas. It goes, Goofy and Max are getting a letter mailed to Santa Claus. However, as soon as they get home, their neighbor Pete tells Max that Santa does not exist, saying that it is impossible for him to fly around the world in one night. Things begin to get worse when Goofy poses as Santa for some kids, and Max finds out that he tricked him. Goofy is determined to prove to Max that Santa does exist and stays up all Christmas Eve to keep an eye out for him, while Max, still bitter, just wants to move on. After mistaking a Beagle Boy for Santa, who was actually robbing Pete's house, Goofy eventually gives up hope for Santa coming. Max then does everything that Goofy did to try and make him happy, including posing as Santa himself. In the end, the real Santa actually comes and gives Max the gift he had asked for earlier, as well as burying Pete's house next door in snow as punishment. When Max asks Goofy if Santa forgot his present, Goofy answers that every year he asks for the same thing and he always gets it. Max's happiness. A Very Goofy Christmas segment, it precedes the cartoon Goof Troop and a Goofy movie. The next segment is called Mickey and Minnie's Gift of the Magi. It's based on the 1905 short story The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. Here's how this story goes. Mickey wants to get Minnie a gold chain for her one heirloom, her watch, so he works at Crazy Pete's tree lot. Minnie wants to give Mickey something special for Christmas as well, so she works hard at her job in a department store to get a bonus to buy him a present with. When Mickey offers a small tree to a poor family who can't afford to buy a special 10-footer tree, his greedy supervisor Pete steals Mickey's money and dismisses him. Pete inadvertently puts his lit cigar into his pocket with Mickey's money without noticing, which triggers a sequence that ends up setting himself, the money, and his trees, including the 10-footers, on fire, much to Pete's dismay. Meanwhile, Minnie's bonus from her stingy boss, Mortimer Mouse, proves to be nothing but a fruitcake. After playing music for a toy drive with the Firehouse 5, Mickey has the idea that he can trade his harmonica for the gold chain. The shop closes when he gets there, and the owner, who is just leaving, is not interested in the harmonica, but changes his mind after hearing Mickey play it. Back at Minnie's house, Mickey gives her the chain for her watch, which she reveals she sold to buy Mickey a case for his harmonica, which he also no longer has. However, Mickey and Minnie still get emotional seeing how far they went to profess their love, and they will still be able to celebrate a happy Christmas. As in The Gift of the Magi, the original story, the thought behind each gift is what counts. The last part of the movie is the finale. It concludes with a medley of songs, Jingle Bells, Deck the Halls, and We Wish You a Merry Christmas, featuring the main characters from all three segments. Number 2, awards and nominations. At the Keskimit Animation Film Festival, this movie won for Best Animated Feature Film. At the Golden Reel Awards, this movie was nominated for Best Sound Editing for Direct-to-Video Sound Editorial, but it lost to Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein. And at the Annie Awards, this movie was nominated for Outstanding Achievement in an Animated Home Video Production, but it lost to An Extremely Goofy Movie. Number 3, continuity. Stuck on Christmas serves as a functional prequel to the 1987 DuckTales cartoon. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are depicted as children who live with their Uncle Donald, which was their status before the first episode of DuckTales, in which the boys are sent to live with their great-uncle Scrooge McDuck after Donald joins the Navy. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are presented as far more rambunctious and troublesome than they ever were in DuckTales. Really? You mean the triplets were well-behaved in DuckTales? Are you sure? Because as far as I've been alive, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the definitions of holy terrors. In A Very Goofy Christmas, Goofy lives in a suburban house as a single father to his son Max, and both of them live next door to Pete. Max is also depicted as a child much younger than he was in Goof Troop for the purpose of telling the story that this short wanted to tell of Max questioning his beliefs in the existence of Santa Claus, which is more of a thing that younger children do rather than older children. This special also introduces a teddy bear of Max's named Old Stuffed Bear, who would go on to make a second appearance in An Extremely Goofy Movie. Goofy and Max already live in a house next door to Pete, who acts like Goofy and Max have been his next door neighbors for quite some time, as Pete behaves in a rather chummy manner with the two of them in one scene. But Goof Troop forgets that Goofy and Max first moved to Spoonerville at the beginning of the series, with several episodes of the series instead treating Goofy and Max as having always lived in Spoonerville, next door to Pete for many years, while only 2 episodes ever referred back to the events of the series premiere. Number 4, bonus facts. In the segment Mickey and Minnie's Gift of the Magi, the Dixieland Jazz Band at the charity toy drive is made up of firefighters and named the Firehouse 5. This is a nod to the Firehouse 5 plus 2, a 7-piece Dixieland jazz band founded in 1949 and consisting of Disney animation staff. In the A Very Goofy Christmas segment, there are lawn flamingos dressed up for the holidays. They are based on the flamingos from the Carnival of the Animals segment in Fantasia 2000, which was in production at the same time of this movie. One of the ornaments Goofy places on the tree is Angelique from Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. The department store Minnie works at is named Mortimer's. Mortimer is the name Walt Disney originally intended to give to Mickey Mouse. Really? Mortimer. I don't think so. Mortimer Mouse is a character who first appeared in the cartoon Mickey's Rival in 1936. No rival, because Mortimer looks more like a rat than a mouse. This is the last non-theatrically released Disney movie of the 20th century. Mickey's dance during the Gift of the Magi segment is redrawn animation from Mickey's Birthday Party cartoon from 1942. And despite this movie being 3 different stories created together, this is the first time that the entire Disney classic Sensational 6 appear in their very own full-length animated movie. And there you have it, all the facts to Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. If you like this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you have a zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.